What's good, guys? So, bit of a candid video today. I was sitting down earlier and I was deep in how lucrative the business model is that I'm currently operating in. And that's pretty much the info slash expertise space, selling your knowledge, selling your information for money. And it really dawned on me how lucrative but flexible, I guess you could say. What's good, guys? So I was chilling earlier this morning and I was just deep in how lucrative the space is that I'm in. And that's like the info product space slash coaching space. So basically selling your knowledge, selling information for money. And I was deep in it and I was thinking, do you know what? I'll make a video about it because there are probably people out there. I say probably, I'm certain, depending on the type of person watching this video, but I'm almost certain that there are people out there that would pay you enormous amounts of money to know what you know and to get your help. Obviously, there's coaching and stuff like that in different ways. You can do it with people, or you hand documents and resources over to them. They do it themselves, or you do it for them. Any one of the three, right? But the bottom line is there are people out there that would pay you for the things that you know. And when I reflect back on just some of the clients that we've worked with, we've worked with people. There's a lady who she had been traumatized as a young girl. She had PTSD from narcissistic parents and stuff like that. And she had then gone on to be a narcissistic and trauma healing coach. She created a course. We helped her to build a community. She sold high ticket one-to-ones on the back end of that. So that's just one example, right? We had another client, Amy, who we're still working with now. We did like $30,000 in, our first month working together. She worked in corporate for pretty much her whole life up until the age of like 30, 40, building clean beauty brands. And then after that, she quit corporate and started her own business coaching people on how to take a beauty brand from a concept in your kitchen all the way to shelves in a supermarket, right? We have other clients who are real estate investors. I had a client, Tom, who invested in his first property when he was around 17, 18, and he still has it to this day because it's sentimental to him because it was one of his first ever properties. But now he teaches people how to flip real estate in the United States. We have another client who created her own method of facial exercises to reduce the signs of aging because she had tried face yoga and it didn't work out for her. So she done her own research and came up with her own method. So the point I'm trying to make is I'm trying to think that 99% of my clients, if not all of them, created a product or started coaching people off the back end of something that they had tried and become successful in themselves. Now, you might not have necessarily done that yet, but it's not to say that you don't have knowledge that people would pay for, essentially. It's just a way of thinking about how you're going to package it, how you're going to present yourself, and how you're going to get your name out there. Because there's people I'm familiar with that, even down to something so niche as, helping people to overcome addictions. There are people who would pay a very hefty price for that, depending on who you're talking to or who you're looking to attract. And the person who is coaching people or teaching people how to overcome addiction had to overcome an addiction himself and suffered with an addiction. So it's really interesting the world that we live in at the minute, because I think that this type of business model or this industry is definitely on the rise. And there are ordinary people sitting at home with specific niche knowledge that they could package into a product and sell it to the correct person for a lump sum, a hefty sum that could replace their current full-time income. And this is why I urge anyone watching this to really consider this, because especially with high ticket, and we work with low ticket, low ticket clients, low ticket products, info products and stuff. But where I like to work most is typically with high ticket. I enjoy it most. It's just from idea to execution to money in the bank. It's one of the quickest ways you can replace your full-time income with little to no, startup costs. You know, it's all about putting your name out there, having conversations with people, understanding, you know, how you can best serve people, how you can best help people overcome certain challenges and problems, and then packaging that into a program or a product and helping people through that. You know, if you are thinking about, you know, starting out selling knowledge, selling your information, or helping people with whatever expertise you think that you have or whatever knowledge you think that you have, the best way to get started is one-to-one coaching. It's to work with people one-on-one, and you don't have to charge ridiculous prices to begin with. You know, you forget about the price for now. It's about getting your skin in the game, right? Getting your foot through the door, starting to work with people, understanding the problems, understanding their desires, understanding, you know, where they're going wrong, the mindset shifts and all that sort of stuff that needs to take place. And then gathering data, you know, gathering feedback, and then you can turn that into a product, and then you will know your value once you have helped X amount of people do X, Y, Z. So all of that stuff, don't think about that. Just think right now, you know, what knowledge do you have? What expertise what skills maybe have you learned? And it could be anything. And you know what? It could, if there's not something that maybe you know right now or you're not familiar or aware of, you can go out there and learn something. Like I said, you don't have to be charging ridiculous amounts to begin with. But the concept of having a skill, having knowledge, and then teaching that to someone in exchange for money is A, lucrative, but B, I think quite desirable for most, because you can live life on your terms, working from anywhere in the world, teaching people what you do. And the bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the price you can pay or charge. Sorry. Obviously, you're not going to be paying for it. But yeah, it's very interesting because even if you look at what I do, right? I'll give you an example from myself. So I've been working with coaches, consultants, you know, info product business owners for around 5 to 6 years now. And I've predominantly been doing that from the perspective of like an agency owner, right? And I'm now, as of the past few months, I've been considering it for really the past 2 years, but I've just never really doubled down on it. But as of the past few months, I've really started to shift away from like the agency model and more into selling me, right? Into building my brand. Because when it comes to coaching, you know, people will always buy the coach before they buy the coaching. And this is why I think the concept of like personal branding and selling your time or selling your info, your knowledge for money is great, but it's also limitless, because there are people out there that would buy from you that wouldn't buy from me. And there are people out there that would buy from me that wouldn't buy from you. And I could be over optimistic in this sense, but I almost feel like when you really double down and channel in on what makes you different and your unique experiences, your unique personality, you kind of become a one of one, because there are going to be people that want to buy from you because it's you. Regardless of whether or not someone sells a similar or the same product, they are going to want to buy from you because of your personality, because of your unique experiences, because of the way that you portray yourself, or maybe because of they, you know, might even see certain elements of themselves in you and relate to you. So that's why, as well, I think it's such a cool industry, a cool space to be in, because when you work with individuals and you really enable them to understand what makes them different and just double down on being their authentic self, it's just interesting to see, right? Because if you do it properly, if you do it in the right way, you become a one of one and no one can replicate what you're doing. And it doesn't have to come from a overly strategic standpoint. It's really just about doubling down on you. And that's really it. So if you have been questioning it, if you have been pondering, you know, maybe thinking about, you know, selling my information, creating a product, whatever it may be, just jump in, just do it. You know, just I would recommend maybe just gathering some feedback to begin with regarding the subject. Maybe put some polls out on social media, speak to some people in real life, understand these intricate problems, and then start working with people one to one. And then once you've done that, once you've got skin in the game, you're getting some feedback, you've been in the trenches, you can then start to productize this knowledge, start to build a course, start to build a program to complement the one-to-ones and all that sort of stuff. But I'll definitely create a video going, you know, in depth with regards to how to do everything from A to Z. But I just had this thought in my mind this morning. I wanted to let you in on it because we work with coaches, creators, and info product business owners from all different walks of life with different personalities, different experiences, different pasts, different upbringings, different everything. And it's interesting that some of the people that we speak to, they're such niche products, and you would never even think that someone could package and sell that to someone, but they do, and they earn ridiculous amounts of money from it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. And keep an eye out for that video because I will drop like an A to Z, how to start your coaching business, how to scale it, how to retain clients, and all that sort of stuff.